Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is going to be yet another Always Bookish in Philadelphia, Philly-based reading vlog. I'm gonna give you the layout of the next couple days together. Today is a work day. I'm about to go in person, do my little 9 to 5. Then tonight we are going up to Manayunk to Cupid's Bookshop, which is the first like book and mortar freestanding romance bookstore in Philly. They are hosting an event for Yes Chef by Grace Riley with Nisha Sharma, so we're gonna go do that. Oh, the battery's dying. So that's the first bookish event. I'll give you a lay of the land when the battery is more alive, but let's go to work and then go have some fun. Okay, hello. Sorry for the abrupt intro. At precisely the moment I had just a few minutes to film before dashing out the door, the camera obviously needed its battery charged. But I wanted to give you a recap of the event last night and a little preview of what's to come in this vlog. If there is an author event near you, even if it's for a book that you have not read yet, I highly encourage you just to go for the literary vibes. I had the privilege of reading an early copy of Yes Chef. I already knew that I very much enjoyed it, and so obviously that made me excited to go. But I also think that in general, it's fun to just be in a room full of readers, full of writers, full of people who are excited about a story that sounds right up their alley. And I think there's a lot that you can get out of an experience like that, even if you haven't read the book yet and you're not sure if you're gonna like it yet. Most of the events give like a little overview or preview of what the plot is going to be about, but then you also get lots of behind the scenes of the writing process. You also get tidbits about upcoming projects that the author has, and so I just really encourage you to put yourself out there and go. I only started going to events like this probably last year, and the first one that I went to was at the Strand. No, it wasn't. The first one that I went to was last year at like the big Barnes & Noble for Ashley Poston's newest release. I didn't know anybody who was going. I ended up seeing people there who I know from like bookish content creation, but I went by myself. I had a great time, and I think it's an experience that you don't have to like wait for someone to go with you. It's very easy to go to these things alone. You can socialize, you can not socialize, you can buy books, you can just go get your book signed and leave. You can really decide how you want to engage, but I'll get off my soapbox about that. I had a great time. Grace Riley is so sweet, so vulnerable, so honest about what it's like to be an author. She was interviewed by Nisha Sharma, which I knew going into it, but was like a really fun dynamic to have a Philly-based author interviewing her for this event. And very casually, I sat in front of Everet, who was just there to support in the audience. It was amazing. So I got my signed copy of Yes Chef, and if you read or have read Yes Chef, then you will very much appreciate the way that Grace is signing the books by crossing out yes and saying always. So very excited to have this treasure on my bookshelf. Like I said, Nisha Sharma was moderating the event. I already own Dating Dr. Dill and Marriage and Masti, but I decided to pick up the third book just to round out the collection and so I could get a signature. So I picked up the paperback edition of Taste Like Shakar. I do not know if I'm saying that right, don't come for me, but do provide a helpful correction in the comments if you know. I was also gagged because I recently became aware of the After the End box set. It's a collection of dystopian stories written by some of the most popular contemporary romance authors. I had been seeing people posting about finding the box set in New York, and I thought to myself, like, immediate scarcity mindset, oh, I'm never gonna be able to find it. This is gonna be one of those things I have to purchase from resellers or try to thrift, yada yada yada. I kind of just like wrote it off that I would never find it, but I should have known. Cupid's Bookshop always has the inventory you want if you're a romance reader, and so I found the box set of After the End, and so I got to bust it open in the store and have her sign that as well, but they are literally so beautiful. I'm gonna show you. That's on the edge there. What happens after the end? We'll find out. They're so pretty, and I thought at first that they were a bunch of like teeny tiny books, but they're actually, what do you call it, like reversible, and they have these gorgeous sprayed edges. I'm just gonna stop talking and show it to you. We just ripped the plastic off so that I could get to the books inside, but I'm just gonna take it off fully so I can show you how pretty is this little collector's box. So it's the after the end. These are the titles and authors inside. And so you'll see it's 8 different stories and they are crammed into these 4 gorgeous little books. Let's just take them out and do a little peek. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. The edges go insane. These are so freaking stunning. I am so obsessed. Is it focusing? I'm so sorry. I'll have to do a separate post about these. They're too pretty. We've got Prima by Sherry Thomas, Trade by Kate Wells, oh my god, Taken by Elizabeth Stevens, Brood by Claire Kent, Bait by Adriana Herrera. I actually started this one on Kindle Unlimited when I first learned about the collection. We have First by Allie Hazelwood, Maya by Nina Saxon, or M-A-Y-A, depending on how you want to read that. And finally, Skin by Nikki Payne. I am so happy to have these in my hands. I literally can't even believe this is real. Like, I cannot believe I just walked into an author event and found this like golden goose egg of a book collector item that I told myself I would never be able to find. And as if I wasn't already spoiled enough by going to experience this event, getting my book signed, finding this book collection, I also found some other books, okay? I can't lie, I bought more. Don't be mad. First of all of my books came home with me in the 250 America Cupid's Bookshop tote. This is literally my one piece of 250 in Philly merchandise, and so I think it's appropriate that it's the romance bookstore tote bag. I got 2 additional titles. One I have been hunting for literal weeks, and I don't know why it was so difficult for me to find this book. Everyone should be very disappointed in themselves. Cupid's just sets the standard for romance inventory, and I realize that's easier to do when you are a romance only or romance focused bookstore, but there is no reason why I couldn't find The Summer Girlfriend in stock at the many bookstores I went to over the last month. This is actually the July pick for the Cupid's Romance Book Club, so obviously they had like a ton in stock, but even if it wasn't the book club pick, like I know I was gonna find it there. So anyway, I finally have her and I am so tickled. And it's so funny. Tina, the owner, was like, of course we're reading a black romance this month. Like, obviously. Love her. And finally, I picked up In Stormy Weather by Chelsea Curto. They had book plates and character art, and I have just been hearing so much about this book. I simply need to see what the hype is about here. I do love when our romance characters have like a niche pocket interest, like they're both meteorologists or storm chasers, I guess. And there was another recent release that Grace Riley had mentioned that is also like a storm chaser type of romance. I don't remember the title, but if I find it, I'll put it here. And I've never read a book like that. So I am really excited to see what this is all about. I think the cover with like the foiling on the letters, it's not even really foiling. I don't know how you would describe it, but I think it's beautiful. So that is everything I got at Cupid's Bookshop yesterday. I had a work from home day today, so my work day is all done. It was very productive. I'm gonna make some dinner really quickly because in maybe an hour or so I have a Zoom call for like a little side quest that we're going on. It's book related, it's food related. I'm not gonna say more than that because it's kind of like a planning meeting and I don't know what's gonna come of it, but I'll keep you posted. So we're gonna do that and I will check in with you guys when I have some more to share. Oh, the other thing, I'm not really sure what we're gonna be reading in this vlog together. Yesterday, I was working on Ruinous Ends by Ivy Marie. I'm actually almost done with that book now. And on my Kindle, I was also reading A Study in Sparkling, which I currently have an arc of. I'm really enjoying both of those books, but I'm not sure they're gonna fit into like the overall theme of this vlog because I'm not really sure what the overall theme of this vlog is yet. I think it's gonna be very food centric. Like we went to the Yes Chef event. This meeting I have tonight is like a book food hybrid combo meeting. Tomorrow, I have some bookish errands to run, but then I'm also like doing a stay-at-home dinner kind of situation with one of my friends. And then I think over the weekend I want to do like a cooking the book situation. So we're gonna go like book food vibes for sure, but I'm not sure which book that's gonna lead us towards. You'll know when I know. Anyway, I'll see you later. All done, and I think I will have some very fun things to share in September. Also, I've decided we are fully committing to the theme of this vlog being books and food. So I'm gonna start a book that I have been just like waiting to read. I don't know what I've been waiting for, but I think in some ways perhaps I was waiting for this very moment. I just think now is finally the time for me to dive into This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. I read Before I Let Go a couple months ago. I've been waiting for the right moment to start this one, and I just think the right moment is right now. So book one of the reading vlog, This Could Be Us. I'm so excited. You also have to pick a bookmark to go with it. Okay, it's the next day. I am making some breakfast. We're gonna have like a chill Saturday morning, but I wanted to give a 100-page update on This Could Be Us. And this is gonna have spoilers because this plot is insane in like the most complimentary way. I am 92 pages of the way through now, and as a brief synopsis, this story primarily follows our female main character, Soledad. She is married to like this scum of the earth man named Edward. They have 3 daughters together. They are a delightful little group of women who are unfortunately plagued by this man who recently has just not been nice to his wife, Soledad. Their marriage is really struggling on an intimacy level, on like a basic human kindness level. He's like working a lot. He's like obsessed with this project that he's working on with his secretary or some sort of business partner, and is just overall being very, very shady. Edward is complaining to Soledad about this new guy at work who's like always up in his business and being so annoying. So Soledad and Edward go to this Christmas party at Edward's boss's house, and the guy that Edward is complaining about is there. Soledad and him have like a really sweet brief moment together. She's like, ooh, this man is like so hot and so nice. And he has these 2 autistic twin boys who like he just is the best father to, and she's like, ooh, this man is so nice. Why does my husband hate him so much? Turns out this man, who is our male main character, Judah, is a forensic accountant who was specifically hired by the company to look into Edward, okay? All right. And then the FBI shows up at their house and arrests him for allegedly embezzling $6 million from his company. So now Edward has been seized by the FBI. Soledad's freaking out. All of their assets are frozen. She can't buy groceries. Judah gets her phone number from like the company employee log, texts her and is like, hey, can I come over and help? She's like, this is probably the worst idea ever, but yeah, sure. He comes over. He says that he feels so bad about everything, not because he feels bad for Edward, but because he feels bad for the family. And the best thing that Soledad can do is cooperate with the investigation, share anything she knows, yada, yada, yada. She's like, how dare you come in here and give me advice like we're friends? We're not friends. You put my husband in jail. I can't buy groceries, the whole 9 yards. He exits, but before he goes, he orders that family some groceries so that they don't starve because of what Edward did. Oh my God, my goodness. Okay, so now Edward's in jail, right? It's been like 3 days. He has yet to call Soledad. He's like using his calls to call his lawyer and call whoever the heck else. Finally, Soledad gets a call from him. He low-key confesses to doing all of the things that he's being accused of, which really shatters her perception of this is an honest mistake, we'll take care of this, he'll make bail, yada yada. He tells her to assume that he is not going to make bail because they've determined he's a flight risk. She's like, what do you mean you're a flight risk? He's like, well, you know, when this guy started looking into me, I thought I might have needed an escape route, so I bought a plane ticket to Bali where they don't have like cooperation laws with the United States, so like if I needed to go somewhere, I'd have somewhere to go. She's like, what do you mean you bought a plane ticket to leave us here? And you bought 1 plane ticket? You didn't buy one for your whole family so we could be together? You bought 1 just for you, you shady, shady man? Anyway, so then he says, I really want to see you, yada, yada, yada. She's like, I'm a little busy. Like, I have a family to run. Okay, so it's the next day. The lawyer calls. He's like, look, you really should go see him in jail. She's like, you know what? I'll go after this gymnastics meet. Fine, I gotta go. I'm getting a call from my doctor. The doctor calls. Guess what the doctor tells her? She's like, if it's cancer, just tell me. She goes, it's not cancer. You have chlamydia. Now, why would she have chlamydia? She's only been sleeping with her husband. She goes to the jail to find out why she has chlamydia. When she goes to the jail, as she is walking in, one of his female coworkers that she recognizes from the Christmas party is walking out, and this is the same coworker that he's like talking about in his sleep, who he's working on all these secret projects with. Like, she is a very suspicious person, and obviously that's where he got the chlamydia. And he admits to it when Soledad goes to visit him in the jail. Sorry, I'm running out of breath. This is like getting me so worked up. This whole time, Edward has been trying to placate Soledad. He's like, please, I've been doing this for our family. Even if I only serve 2 years in jail, by the time we get out, we'll be so rich. Like, it won't matter that I did all this bad stuff. Like, you have to stay with me. You don't have a job. You don't have anything going on. Like, you need me. Like, you have to stay with me. You have to cooperate, do this for our family. And then once she realizes that he has, in addition to all of this, been cheating on her, gave her an STI, she's like, look, we are so done. You are never gonna see the kids again. You're never gonna see me again. Like, I am so over this. And then he totally flips. He's like, look, girl, you can try that, but you have no money and no power. So like, if you try to keep my kids from me, like, I'm coming after you. Like, just totally full 180 once he gets the pushback. And I'm like, oh my God. And then, okay, so where I ended right now, which is why I'm so worked up, Edward goes, you can't do this. You have no money. They'll take the house. What do you have without me, Sol? You won't survive. And Sol looks back over her shoulder, gives him a smile, and says, watch me. That's where we're at in this lovely little story. From a food standpoint, Soledad loves to cook. Her girls love her ooey gooey brownie recipe. She loves to make carne asada. And so I do think there are going to be some recipes in here that are maybe worth trying out. But if I don't make something from here, I'll make something from a different foodie book that I love. So that is where we are at from a food standpoint. She is a home chef. I'm sure the food is freaking delicious. So we have some good material to work with. I am gonna make myself a little cozy Saturday breakfast. I'm gonna sit on the couch and watch Falling Skies. And then I think the plan for today is I have to run to the library to return some books and maybe browse for some books. I need to start packing for my trip next week and just making sure I've got like all my outfits in a row. And then we do have a Philly Book and Sip Club meeting tonight. The book of the month was Yesteryear by Carol Claire Burke, which I actually read as an ARC several months ago, so I am fully prepared and can't wait to talk with everybody about it. The problem is there's a very specific dress code for this event. The theme is like out of this world, so you have to dress like silvery, metallic-y, like, I don't want to say like alien vibes, but like kind of. There's an inspo pic, but I am not sure I have an outfit, and so if I can't throw something together, we're gonna be in trouble. So that is also on the agenda today, is to find a book club outfit. But I'm gonna go make my cream of wheat, and I will see you guys when I have some sort of update for you. Everybody, it is later in the afternoon. You will notice that I am still in my pajamas. I have spent most of the day on the couch watching Falling Skies, listening to / reading This Could Be Us, and crying. If you follow Isabel Klee and Simon Sitz, it is Saturday. And so I have just been really deeply in my feelings about mortality and animals. The one productive thing I did do is try on some outfits for my trip. So I feel really good that we have solidified some options, but I definitely just need to shift my mood. So we are gonna unbox all of the book mail that I picked up from my P.O. box yesterday. This is like the biggest drop of books that I've had in the last year. We had 6 little goodies waiting for me. When I went to go pick up, the worker was like, oh my god, you have 6 packages. I was like, why are you saying it like that? I'm scared. I thought they were gonna be really big. But no, they're all just like individual books. So let's see what we have. Simon, and Simon. Okay. Simon. Oh, okay, it's okay. They're different Simons. Okay, this is Simon & Schuster. Then we've got one box from HarperCollins and another one from Simon. Let's start with the Simon stack. Ooh, this is like a super advanced copy. This doesn't come out until March 2027. We have The Point of It All by Laura Kay. I got this as part of the Simon Books Buddy program, so thank you so much to Simon Books. I really do love what they put out there. So this is a sharply funny, deeply tender tale of first love and chosen family set against the backdrops of London and New York City, perfect for fans of David Nichols and Coco Mellors. On the morning of her wedding, Holland finds herself in a hotel room with the one person who has always made her feel the most like herself. The ceremony is about to start, the guests are waiting, and suddenly the life she has carefully constructed feels dangerously easy to step out of. Ross and Holland meet as teenagers and fall into the kind of love that feels invented just for them. Intense, electric, impossible to outgrow. Over the years that follow, they orbit each other across cities and continents through other relationships, career highs, private griefs, and public reinventions. Sometimes they're inseparable, sometimes they're strangers, but neither of them ever quite escapes the pull of the other. Sweeping, sharply funny, and deeply tender, the point of it all captures the particular ache and magic of queer longing across a lifetime, asking what we owe our first great love and whether growing up ever really means growing apart. This is a love story about timing, yearning, and the one person who might just be the point of it all. Oh my gosh. This is going to ruin me in the most complimentary way possible. Thank you so much, Simon Books. All right, book 2. That's a hard one to top. I have another paperback, which I think means it's an ARC. Oh, yes! Okay, this is The Return of Ellie Black by Emiko Jean. This is the paperback re-release. It's been 20 years since Detective Chelsea Calhoun's sister vanished. Ever since, Chelsea's been searching for signs, for closure, for other missing girls, but happy endings are rare in Chelsea's line of work. Then, a glimmer of hope. Local teenager Ellie Black, who disappeared without a trace 2 years earlier, has been found alive in the woods of Washington State. Only something isn't right with Ellie. She won't say where she's been or who she's protecting. Now it's up to Chelsea to find answers before it's too late. This haunting and evocative debut adult thriller from New York Times bestselling author Emiko Jean is both a feminist tour de force about the embers of hope that burn in the aftermath of tragedy and a gripping psychological thriller that will shock you right up until the final page. I mean, what a perfect pick for summer-ween. Dare I say this might come on vacation with me? It might. It really might. We'll see. Next up. Yay! Oh my gosh, okay. We have here Great and Unfortunate Things, a memoir. This is an ARC. This book releases August 11th, written by Jason Arday. I was really excited about this book in particular, not just because of the content, but also because of the comp. So it was described as a book that's perfect for fans of Educated, which I loved, and When Breath Becomes Air, which I'm actually currently listening to. So that was perfect timing for me to become aware of this book. Jason Arday was born the second youngest of 3 boys and grew up in a colorful and lively section of South London. At 3 years old, he was diagnosed with autism and developmental delays. Experts told his parents he would never be able to speak, write, or live independently. They suggested he be institutionalized. His parents would have none of it. Instead, his extraordinary mother, thinking outside the box and drawing on her faith, embraced his neurodivergence and fiercely dedicated herself to helping her son realize a potential that few others believed possible. In Great and Unfortunate Things, we see how Arday went from being nonverbal until he was 11 and illiterate until he was 18 to scaling unimaginable heights as an adult. Without romanticizing the struggle, this is a story of a man's determination against seemingly insurmountable odds and how his family and a band of ordinary people with extraordinary compassion joined forces to encourage him to believe in himself and maximize his capabilities. Jason Arday is a professor at Cambridge, and he is the youngest ever Black academic to hold a professorship at Cambridge and one of the youngest academics ever appointed to a professorship in Oxbridge's nearly 1,000-year history. Hello, this is gonna be amazing. Oh, good. Camera battery's dying. Perfect. Oh, okay, we're back. We cried a little bit more. We watched a little bit more Falling Skies. Let's finish this book haul. Moving on to book number 4 from Simon. This is from the young adult fiction branch of Simon. This is Nest of Tongues by Randy Rebay. This is like a vampire fiction. Despite what you may have heard, we are not monsters. As Filipino vampires known as Manananggal, I'm definitely not saying that right, I'm sorry. Manananggal. That's definitely not how you say it. Lily and her brother Caleb understand the value of a secret. After all, to hide is to survive, to lie is to live. They'd never harm another person, but humans only believe their worst fears around creatures of myths. So the siblings stay quiet, they follow their community's rules, until a monster hunter turns up and kills a fellow. As the hunter nears, the siblings must decide if they'll be driven from the only home they've ever known or fight to protect a community that may already be lost. I love this. And this is perfect too, because since I am loving the show Fallen Skies, I've been looking for more like supernatural sorts of books to read, like the interface between otherworldly creatures and humanity. So I love that this showed up just in time. All right, last goodie from Simon. This is in a fun little gold foil packaging. So here we have Buyer Beware by Catherine Ryan Howard. This is another mystery thriller. This is a page-turning thriller about 2 women whose shattered lives come crashing together around a house with secrets that could bury them both. When Ellie moves to 1 Delaney Row, she hopes to find a fresh start, a place where no one knows her name, her history, or her secrets. But what she doesn't know is that her new home is already hiding someone else's secrets, and the people determined to keep them are watching her. As Ellie starts to unravel the house's disturbing backstory, she unwittingly puts herself on a deadly collision course, not just with her new home's history, but with her own past as well. Buyer Beware is a chilling exploration of the dark secrets that any house can hold and the lengths we'll go to when we are forced to start over. Another great summer-ween read. Oh my gosh. Can't wait to dive into this one. And finally, we have our last piece of book mail from HarperCollins. Yay! Oh yes, I'm so excited about this one. Just like a sweet little summer read to take the edge off of these more stressful stories that I've been leaning towards. We have How to Find Romance in a Bookshop by Poppy Alexander. Is it cliche to read a romance about a bookish girl? Like, yes it is, but this one just sounded so sweet. It's a classic bookish bookshop read, you know? You've got your literary agent who's going through like a little career snafu. You've got a novelist who's struggling to write his second work. They seem like an unlikely pair. They're drawn to each other. Things start to pick up at the bookshop. Business is going well. And all of a sudden they decide, you know what? Let's write this book. You'll be my agent. Things will go great. But like, are they ready for all that? We'll see. Thank you so much to Avon Books for this one. I really, really appreciate it. All right. And that is my delightful little book stack. While I am still feeling a little melancholy, I feel happy to have some fun new books. So I'm going to clean up the mess that I made. I'm probably gonna go sit on the couch and figure out what I want to do for dinner. And then I also need to decide if I'm going to book club tonight, guys. I know every It's Bookish in Philadelphia vlog has a Philly book and sip party, but I texted all of my book friends and none of them are able to go tonight, which is fine. I've gone to plenty of these book parties by myself. I always meet new girls. It's such a fun time, but I'm already feeling like so bummed. So I just am not sure if I have it in me to be my best self around new people tonight. You know what I mean? I really do like mentally want to go, but like in my soul, I don't know if I have it in me to go. We're just gonna go relax for a little bit. I'm still chugging along in This Could Be Us, and it's still delivering. We've had some time jumps in the story. So we see the big fallout between Soledad and Edward, and now we've jumped forward about 8 months. Soledad is moving on with the divorce. She is trying to make things work financially for her family. She's starting a social media career to bring in some money. So she's just trying to get back on her feet. She's got her friends rallying around her to support her, but she feels really bad like utilizing them for emotional and financial support. So she's just working through the pits of it. I'm really rooting for her. I'm excited to see how this romance starts to pick up. We haven't really seen a ton of interaction between Soledad and her soon-to-be new love interest in the last few pages, so we'll see how he reintroduces himself into the storyline now that we're like so far removed from the major incident. But I'll keep you guys posted on the book and the book party, and I'll see you when I have an update. Good morning, you guys. It is 5 a.m. on Monday morning. I wanted to give you guys a reading update. Yesterday was a big audiobook day. My mom was in town. We went out, we did a little shopping. She brought me some food. We did some long outstanding tasks around the apartment, and she took Yoshi because he's gonna stay with her while I'm on my trip. So I didn't have a lot of time for a ton of physical reading, but did a lot of audiobook listening, and now I'm a little over halfway through This Could Be Us, and we will see how much further I get during my morning reading sprint. I'm starting the day at page 233. We're on chapter 29, and I am just absolutely loving this story. I do think that it's maybe in the running for becoming one of my favorite Kennedy Ryan books. There is just something about these characters that I am absolutely loving. I love Soledad's commitment to being an excellent mother, but also being an excellent partner to herself. She's started her own business or brand by posting on social media. She's catering events. Her videos are going viral. She's bringing in brand deals. Like, she really is supporting her her family financially by following these passions that previously her husband Edward told her were not at all any sort of work, really devalued them. So it's really great to see her take that passion and that talent and turn it into something so lucrative that was so undervalued by this terrible man she used to be married to. I will say Judah is also a really excellent father. He's a really excellent co-parent with his ex. They go to like fall festivals together. They really understand these teenage autistic boys and their unique needs as individuals. They are very strong advocates for their children. And I really feel for Judah because we get a peek into his internal struggle with his own like recognition of characteristics that his boys have that he has, and this acknowledgement that he might also have autism, but back when he was a child, that was not something that was easily accessible, easily discussed, easily talked about. And I think in addition to that, what I really appreciate is his recognition that some of his hyperfixations that he has, particularly with work, is not necessarily just about the work, but about this idea that he has to make enough money for what he calls 2 lifetimes, because one of his children is likely going to need supports well past beyond the point that like Judah leaves this earth. And so he has a lot of pressure on himself financially to be able to create this like very, very large nest egg for an unknown future. And I think both of those things are things that are not so talked about when we see autism representation in books. It's always about like the diagnostic struggle, the therapeutic support struggle, and there are some discussions about like future worries, but I think this one just does a really, really nice job of highlighting that, as well as this phenomena that happens oftentimes when caregivers are seeking diagnoses and therapies for their child, where they start to do some self-exploration as well. And I just think so far it's been done very, very nicely. So I am just really loving these people. From a plot standpoint right now, Judah and Soledad have admitted to having feelings for each other. They did kiss at a party, but right afterwards they're like, look, this really doesn't change anything. Soledad is still on her self-partnering journey. Judah still wants to respect that, but he basically says, you just like let me know when you're ready. Also, in the meantime, if it's cool for us to spend time together, like let's do that. So it'll be interesting to see at what point Soledad decides to really like dive in deep, because I think it begs the question of like, how do you really know when you're ready for something? I think it's very clear when you are not ready for something, but as you start to grow and heal, what is like your checkpoint to say, okay, I can get into something romantic now, I feel ready. So it'll be interesting to see what that is for Soledad. So we are gonna start reading, and I will have a reading update for you guys later today. Oh, the other thing we need to talk about is the foodie aspect of this vlog. I don't know why I thought I would have it in me to do like some sort of elaborate cooking experiment in the days before I go on vacation. However, Soledad's self-partnering journey has been inspiring me because one of the things that she is doing is making sure that she has like monthly dates with herself to go out to restaurants that she really loves without having to wait for her friends or a romantic partner to go out with her. And so in the spirit of that, plus the fact that I do not have a lot of food here, I think I too will make a plan to go out to dinner on my own this evening. We'll just kind of see what I'm craving when the workday's over. I don't have a plan for a specific restaurant, but I thought that would be a nice way to tie in the foodie component. Double points if I get something that Soledad has mentioned is one of the foods that she likes to eat or likes to cook. So I am going to do my morning reading sprint, go start my workday, and I will see you guys when I have an update for you. It's been a few days. I actually went on my Nantucket trip and came back and realized I never gave you a final update on my book shopping, on my book review, so I wanted to do that. As I showed you before I went on my trip, I went to Mostly Books. I didn't end up buying anything. And I went to Philly Aids Thrift where I did end up buying something, both a Hawaiian shirt for one of the themed nights of the Bachelorette trip, but also a used book that comes highly recommended by a book bestie. Fresh Water by Akweke Emezi is one of Spencer's favorite books of all time, and I found it at Philly Aids Thrift, I think for $4. Yeah, $3.99. What a steal. And it's in great condition. I also personally love a book with deckled edges. Comment down below how you feel about the deckled edges. Then when I was going to do my pre-vacation Sephora trip and discovered that the Sephora in Center City is closed, I had to do a consolation trip to Barnes & Noble. And I'm glad I did because I picked up a couple goodies. First up, I picked up this blue paperback copy of Sunrise on the Reaping. I've been waiting to read this book until it came out in paperback. I do think that this blue cover is out a few days earlier than it's supposed to be. I'm also a little confused as to why it's blue because the hardcover was purple. Does that mean something? Is it just because it's the Barnes exclusive? If you know, let me know. But I am still, even though I have this in my possession, delaying starting it because I just know it's going to destroy me. I love Haymitch and I have seen the response to this book on the internet and I just know I'm going to be a puddle on the floor when I read it. And I'm not really ready for that, but it does have to happen at some point and I want to be prepared. So now I am. They also had a bunch of Stephen King titles on sale. I think it was buy one, get one 50% off. So I picked up 2 titles that sounded very interesting to me. Keep in mind, I have yet to read a Stephen King book, even though I own multiple different titles. I really have to get into it. I said I would do it for Summerween and now it's mid-August and I haven't done it. So please hold me accountable. Tell me where you would start. But one of our starting choices is Firestarter. Based on the back of the book, this is about 2 college students who were trying to make some extra cash and they decided to volunteer as test subjects in an experiment. And by participating in this experiment, they ended up getting psychic powers. They end up falling in love, having a child, and then their daughter Charlie has what's described as extraordinary and uncontrollable power, including the ability to make fire with her mind, which obviously is going to go poorly for everyone. That just sounded very interesting to me. So I picked that up. Another kind of psychological Stephen King thriller, although I guess maybe you could argue that all of his books are psychological thrillers. I also picked up The Stand. Keeping with the theme of suspicious experiments, this is about a patient who escapes a biological testing lab and has an unknown strain of the flu. Turns out this is a super flu that knocks out 99% of the population and leaves just a very small pocket of humanity behind. And because humans are humans, we still end up recreating society in the exact same way it currently exists, even under new circumstances. So there are 2 factions of people who evolve, one who follows this benevolent old woman and one who's under the guise of this suspicious man, and we just get to see them duke it out. This is a really, really thick book with a really simple premise and short blurb for the amount of pages that are written about it, but I think it's going to be a fun time. That's what I picked up at Barnes & Noble. And now, my final thoughts on Miss Kennedy Ryan's This Could Be Us, the second book in the Skyland series. I really loved this story. As you could tell probably from my live reactions, it really got my blood pumping. It is juicy, juicy, juicy. If you're a fan of the drama that comes in an Ellen Hilderbrand book where it's just whammy after whammy after whammy, you will thoroughly enjoy This Could Be Us. Just when you think Edward can't be more despicable, he becomes more and more despicable every 30 pages. It's actually impressive how terrible of a man he is. He really said, let me be the best villain of all time. But that being said, Soledad rises above. She starts a lucrative social media business. She starts catering parties. She's giving out hosting advice. She's just really creating a strong brand for herself so she can provide for her daughters. She learns to lean on her friends who love her dearly. She allows herself to be open to love with Judah. And Judah is just the perfect man for her. My only critique of this book is the same critique that I had of Score. Judah does not feel like a fully fleshed out character to me. He feels like a perfect book boyfriend, and it's a weird thing to complain about, and it's not even really a complaint, it's just an observation. But this man truly does not have a single flaw. He doesn't really have a character development arc that he goes on. He starts the book perfect and he ends the book perfect. Does he have some stressors in his life come up that he needs to deal with besides his relationship with Soledad? Yeah, sure, totally, that happens. But really, from page 1 to page
300 whatever, he's the same dude. And you know what? That's fine. That's what Soledad needed. I, however, just think a romance is more interesting when both characters go on a journey together. But again, because Soledad went through so much with Edward, I honestly don't even think I had the emotional space to cope with anymore. So if there was something going on with Judah, I'm not sure I would have the capacity to care about it. And maybe that was intentional on Miss Ryan's part. I don't know. But really, if my major critique of a book is that the main man was too perfect, I'll take it. I'll take it. It is a little bittersweet though, now that I'm done with book 2 in this series, because all I have left is Can't Get Enough. And then when I finish that, it means I'm done with the Skyland series. And I just don't know if I'm ready for that. I love these books. They are just peak romance to me. These are like grown up romance books. I've been sitting on giving this a rating for a while, but I do think I'm landing on a solid 4 stars for this one. Very, very enjoyable, high quality read. Definitely recommend checking it out. As far as the foodie elements go, I did not end up going out for carne asada or making carne asada, which is Soledad's favorite, but I did end up going out for a solo dinner date at Hmart's cafe because I love Asian food. I love Korean food. I love ramen. I love sushi. And I haven't been able to get out to Cherry Hill to check out the new location. So when the opportunity presented itself, I took Soledad's lead, I self-partnered, and I had myself a little day. So I hope you guys enjoyed getting to see that. If you have made it to the end of this video, okay, hello y'all. It has been a few days since we touched base, but I wanted to give you a little update. I thought I was going to be ending this vlog a few days ago, but we actually have one more bookish foodie thing happening tomorrow, so I decided to lump it onto the end of this vlog. I'm not going to say too much about it because I think this video might be up before the final product of what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm filming for a podcast, and the theme is foodies who love books, so it just dovetails very nicely to the end of this. But I need to bring our hostess a gift, so I'm gonna go out, look for something cute. I think what I'm gonna do is go to the cookbook themed bookstore here in Philly, and I have to run to the library to return some books, so we're gonna do all of that right now. I meant to return these before I went on my trip, so now they are presumed lost, and I've lost my library privileges, and we simply cannot have that. And there is a branch of the library down by Binding Agents where I'm gonna go to look for a hostess gift, so let's get to it. I also forgot to share, I started another like foodie book. It's the audio of Fake It Till You Bake It. It's like a cute little rom-com between a football player who loves to bake and a girl who's just down on her luck. There's a forced proximity situation going on where they now have to work together at his bakery. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm gonna listen while I walk. Okay, bye. Taking the show on the road. I'm gonna make the drive down to Maryland, and we are gonna meet up with some bookish babes, do some chatting, some eating. So I will bring you guys along, show you some behind the scenes, but I believe the podcast is gonna be airing on August 26th. So you can check the final product out there, but let's set up our GPS. I'm gonna be listening to Fake It Till You Bake It while I drive down, and I'll see you there. We did make a Dunkin' stop. Try that again. We did make a little Dunkin' stop. I got the peanut butter Dunkin' latte. It's delicious. Because I have such a plethora of small coffee shops to pick from, I don't actually get Dunkin' that often anymore. So when I do, I make sure it's a delicious one. And the Dunkin' latte with peanut butter is delicious. I also got myself a little sour cream donut. I feel like I only get these Maryland and below. Like they don't have them in Pennsylvania usually. They don't have them in New York. And they're like the best Dunkin' donut. Okay, onward we go. guys, we are here in the 5 a.m. spot at 10 p.m. just to end off this vlog. I had such an amazing evening. Our host Tracy is just phenomenal at what she does. An excellent hostess, an excellent interviewer, an excellent home chef. I ate really well, I laughed a lot, and the podcast is going live on August 26th. I wanted to show you some of the goodies we were gifted and then say goodbye. The author being featured on the first live episode of Bookish Bites is LB Gaines, who graciously gifted us 2 of her books, but the branding of this bag is absolutely phenomenal. We got 2 of her greatest hits. We have Small Town Romance Beneath the Harvest Moon and Urban Romance Bulletproof Love. This cover of Harvest Moon is extra special because they actually just did a reprint of this, so this is the OG cover and both books are signed. Then we also got a couple of goodies from Tracy herself. First up, obviously, is spices. If you don't know, Tracy creates these bookish inspired spices, and so we all got to go home with one. I got Fiction Addiction. I think we all got Fiction Addiction, actually. It's a sweet spice blend. It is sugar, but also lemons and blueberries. I feel like this would be really delicious, sprinkled on top of like a freshly baked blueberry muffin as like a little crispy, crunchy, sweet topper. It would also probably be good on an iced coffee with like a little cold foam moment. And then she also made us each cups, and you guys know I'm all about my mugs. So now I am very much ready for the fall season. I mean, this is gonna look great in the 5 a.m. vids. I'm so excited. But with that, I think I am going to wrap up the vlog here. I did not finish Fake It Till You Bake It, but I am maybe 40% of the way through now. It is very, very cute. Our influencer, who is now working at this football player's cupcake shop, as I mentioned before, has kind of fallen from grace with the public after very dramatically having an on-screen breakup with like a very loved character on a reality dating show. And when she was on the show, she actually said that she rejected this other contestant because she had somebody back at home who she couldn't stop thinking about. She lied about that though. And so when the paparazzi come to the cupcake shop to find her and get a comment, she says, "Oh yeah, that guy, that's him right here," and then like points to the owner of the cupcake shop, which is how they end up fake dating. So that's where I'm at in the story. I'm really liking the writing style. It's a very like quick, lighthearted read, which is what I needed right now. So I'll have a full review up at some point, but today is not that day because this video is already getting pretty long. If you made it to the end of this video, comment down below a dish that you read about in a book that you would love to eat in real life. And I will see you guys in the next vlog. Thanks for watching. Bye.